You have to know this. The fact that I'm here matters. The fact that you're there matters. This is no accident. None of us are.
If you don't have style, you just say, well, here I am, you know, as a human being. How can I express myself?
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
There is no way around. You have to jump.
And we are calling it iPhone.
نريدها قوما ونهضة إسلامية.
I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream.
It's about yes we can. We can.
من أمام أحد مساجد لوس أنجلوس أقدم ضيف الحلقة اليوم كما قدمه الرئيس السابق باراك أوباما.
Here's how great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. 1967, he had spent a year dominating college basketball. The NCAA bans the dunk. They didn't say it was about Kareem, but it was about Kareem.
عندما منحه وسام الرئاسة فقال لم أقلده هذا الوسام لأنه فقط أسطورة لرياضة كرة السلة، بل نقابلهم لأنه هو اللاعب والمدرب والمؤلف والناشط السياسي كريم عبدالجبار.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
كريم عبدالجبار.
And he's got his body in between
Jabbar and Chamberlain. He can do it. Kareem. And the foul. Here's the hook. All right. That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He may not miss tonight, Ted. He may not miss tonight.
Swing left, shoot right, 12-footer back.
So, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, thank you for having us again. And before I start, or if I wanted to choose a first question to start with, you scored thousands of goals. You scored 36 points or more. You even wrote more than 14 books you wrote. And you wrote articles, you always express yourself through those things. But we didn't feel that you like expressing yourself in speaking. There's a reason behind that?
Well, you know, there's different methods of communication, and I felt that if I was going to express my own personal thoughts and beliefs, that the best way to control that is for me to take control and make it very formal and make it in my writing so that I won't be misunderstood.
And you think that speaking is a choice, or you chose not to speak, or it's not the best way to express beliefs?
No, everybody has their own preference, that's all. It has nothing to do with one being more effective than the other. It's just where you're comfortable.
You're right. We'll be throughout all your years of achievement, but let me first start with the 60s, where we believe that those are special years for you. I tried to memorize them by saying my father is born in 64, my mother is born in 65, in 66 you joined UCLA. What do you remember on those moments, joining UCLA?
Well, I had a very good experience going to UCLA. I wanted to get a degree, and, you know, have the whole college experience, and UCLA was a perfect place for me to do that. I was able to graduate on time, and we did very well with the basketball program, so it couldn't have gone any better.
In those years, those are not the same years right now. UCLA have been UCLA. It's one of the top educational universities in the world, but still, how do you describe those days, those college days?
I think, you know, as a mature man now, you know, you look back on your youth and you want to remember all the good times. So my time at UCLA is associated with a lot of good things that happened in my life. So, you know, I'll always view it in that way.
In those years, you've joined the Milwaukee team, the Milwaukee Bucks. How was that experience when you joined that team?
Well, you know, going to Milwaukee was it was a big change for me. Being born and raised in New York City and then going to university in Southern California, you get used to the way life is lived in a big city, and Milwaukee was a much smaller town. So, it took some adjustment. But, the basketball fans were very enthusiastic. They really appreciated the fact that I made their team a contender, and we were able to win a world championship.
Sure.
So, they remember me fondly there for that reason.
Sure. You've expressed beliefs from the beginning. On those days, you were asked to join the Olympic team and to represent your country. But you said you were busy that time. And you stopped from joining the Olympic team because you wanted to stand beside your race. What do you say on that?
Well, at that point, people were trying to portray the United States as treating black Americans correctly. And it wasn't as correct as they were trying to portray it. And the truth was very important to all of us, that we tell the truth about what was happening here in America. So I was I was proud of the guys, Tommy Smith and John Carlos, for standing up and making a protest the way they did. I thought it was effective, and I thought it brought attention to an issue that probably would not have gotten any attention had they not taken the stand that they took. So, I really supported what they did.
Based on your book, your books, you said that you acknowledged being an African American in your 3rd grade. How is it to acknowledge such a thing?
Well, in America, race is an issue. In many countries, race isn't so much of an issue because they have people there from many different cultures, many different racial identities. But in America, there's the whole idea of we're all American, but within that there are little divisions, okay? And you don't understand that you're divided away from mainstream America until a certain point in your life, as you grow up. And I was just reflecting what I was learning. By then I was, 8 or 9 years old, and realizing that the white kids saw themselves a little bit differently from seeing me. And I remember looking at a photograph of me and all my classmates and saying, I'm the black kid. Uh-oh, there's something going on there. And little by little you become aware of racial differences here in America because people start making assumptions about who you are and what your potential is, based on nothing other than what you look like.
So if I can rephrase what you've just said, that you've understood being an African American from a picture, from a photo. So understanding that there is a difference in the shape or in the color.
There's just a difference in appearance that seems to be more important than I understood. As a child, you don't understand these things. And events and circumstances increase your awareness.
That's remind me about something that we've just yesterday when we met. Larry King said that once he saw you across the street and you start waving your hands, and then he of course noted that you're Kareem, but you shouted saying, this is Kareem. So he said it was obvious that it's Kareem. Being tall, that tall, that's also something special as a kid. How was the life being different from other students?
Being different it's a two-edged sword. It can be something you can be proud of, and it's also something that you can feel is a burden. But my parents tried to get me to view my height as a mark of distinction. Being tall, and to be proud of it, and not to be ashamed of my height. And I tried just to associate with positive images of tall things that stand out. I guess I was going to be a tall person that stood out, but I accepted that, and that's one of the compromises that you have to make with life. Most people want to be anonymous. It's not that easy when you're tall and you stand out.
You've mentioned your family, your father and mother. One of the things that you also shared is that the only time you played basketball with your father, and he used power with you, he pushed you, he used physical and mental pressure on you in that game, and it was the last.
It was the first and only time that I played with my father, because I don't know what was on his mind. He must have taken it as a challenge. I just wanted to learn the game, and I think he was trying to show me that it was a very physical, often violent game. But I realized that he wasn't the best person to take lessons from, and I avoided him after that.
But you're physical too. They stopped they stopped the dunk as a technique from the game because of you, as Mr. Obama says, the previous president. What do you think? Are you physical when it is? If I can describe your basketball techniques.
The banning of the dunk shot had to do with people thinking that would limit my effectiveness in the game, and that just proved to me how little they knew about the game. It had very little effect on how I played the game or the success of my team. But that's some people think they can use their power to change things.
You replaced it or you didn't. You invented your style or your hook of the game. I remember, before saying that, I remember once with my family when we were young, we played in a court similar to that, and we were missing one to make the team full. So my cousin, a girl cousin, joined. She knew nothing about basketball, but she was tall because she's the oldest among us. Yeah. So automatically, she doesn't know how to dribble. She made the hook, but it's not the exact hook, but it was a hook. My father shot it from far away. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and she looked the same. So was that the reason? Was it because you're tall and you can handle the ball? What is the story of the hook?
Basically, the coach that I had when I was in grade school had someone show me how to shoot the hook shot. And they gave me a drill to practice, and I started practicing it while I was in grade school. And I just kept practicing it. But by working on it so early in my life and learning all the fundamentals of it, as I got older, going through high school and college, it was part of my game, a very effective part. And it was a shot that nobody could block. So it enabled me to have a long and effective career.
دائما ما نسمع أهازيج الجمهور وصيحاته عندما يتم تسجيل الهدف، وأحيانا عندما يتصدى المدافع لهجمات الخصم. فمن هو الأهم؟ هل هو تسجيل الهدف أم صد هجمات الخصم؟ تساؤل مستحق. Let me ask you this question. Your position in the tactical plan of the game is somewhere that you don't expect to score that much as you scored, and you've been also doing records in blocking balls. So what makes you feel more happy? Is it a block or a score?
Winning is really the criteria. So if my scoring enables my team to win, or my defense enables my team to win, that's what makes me happy. I was very pleased that I could affect the game at either end. I wasn't just good at defense. I was good at defense and offense. And I'm remembered for the things I did as a scorer, but I was an all-defensive team player over 11 times, and had a lot of defensive records when I retired that people just ignored or overlooked.
When we wanted to introduce this episode to people, we've quoted the President Obama when he gave you the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He said it's not because you played a role in a movie, or because you're an amazing or a legend for basketball for the world. or even because of your giggles. It was because you released, or you spoke up your religion, your belief, Islam, in a time where it was difficult. We didn't hear your clear response on that.
Well, I was flattered that President Obama would acknowledge me in that way. But I think that people from the black community always understood that that was what I was about. You know, I tried to stand up for people who couldn't speak for themselves. And, you know, as a Muslim, that's a very important issue, you know, that everybody's rights are respected.
But the reason we honor Kareem is more than just a pair of goggles and the skyhook. He stood up for his Muslim faith when it wasn't easy and it wasn't popular. He's as comfortable sparring with Bruce Lee as he is advocating on Capitol Hill, or writing with extraordinary eloquence about patriotism. Physically, intellectually, spiritually, Kareem is one of a kind, an American who illuminates both our most basic freedoms and our highest aspirations.
قد يعتقد البعض أن التخلي عن المبادئ والثوابت والقيم القديمة هو جزء من شروط الانضمام مع الكبار، ولكن عندما وصل كريم للقمة عاد ليعلن إسلامه وتمسكه بتلك الثوابت. Back home, or especially in the GCC countries or in the Middle East, some of the people believe that neglecting Islam or trying to hide their beliefs is a way of being part of being modern and being open-minded, let's say. But you did exactly the opposite. You became a legend and a hero, then came back to your beliefs. What do you tell those people?
Well, I would tell them that I would not have been successful if I had not had a moral foundation.
Oh.
You know, the things that keep you from acting foolishly are the moral restraints that you try to adhere to in your life. You know, if it were not for if it were not for the fact that I wanted my children to do well, and I focused on that, focused on my family and my community first, you know, that's what enabled me to succeed. And that's what gives me pleasure and makes me feel fulfilled. Other people, if they don't have this moral foundation, they focus on themselves, total personal gratification, the accumulation of wealth. The Quran says, what do we want? We want stored up heaps of gold, wives, children, and cattle marked with your brand. The Quran tells us that's all that we would want if we did not have a moral foundation. So, you know, Islam gave me that foundation that enabled me to understand what was important, and enabled me not to live a life that I would not be proud of.
Talking about Islam, do you remember the moment where you saw Kaaba or you went to Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
How did that feel?
It's hard to describe because when I was learning about Islam, I read the life of the Prophet. So, you know, to go to Medina and Mecca and see these places and understand what happened, it's very emotional.
You said in your book when you went to Libya and Saudi. Let me ask you, why Libya?
It was a place where I could study Arabic.
Uh-huh.
I only had a couple of weeks during my summer vacation, so I went to some place where I could try to learn conversational Arabic.
But also you've joined Harvard to learn Arabic.
Yeah, that's where I went first. I went there first, and then the next year I went to Libya and Saudi Arabia.
That makes it amazing for people to know why you're successful. When you wanted to learn Arabic, you've joined Harvard. So that should be a lesson that everyone seeing now should understand how to be a successful person.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that saying we have here, knowledge is power. So, and the Prophet Muhammad said to seek knowledge, even if you have to go to China, which was the furthest place that you could go to that they knew about. Go to great lengths to accumulate knowledge. It's absolute essential part of success.
رغم أن كريم في عامه 70 إلا أنه ليس متعلق ومتمسك بتلك اللحظات التي حقق فيها نجاحات الماضي، بل هو دائما متطلع للمستقبل، دائما يبحث عن ما هو إصداره الجديد. هكذا هو كريم عبدالجبار. You're a huge achiever. That is the reason why Power Owners is here today. But one of the things that you think of it as one of your biggest achievement is after being a sportsman or athletic, being an author as one of your hugest success. Why is that?
I think I had to have something to do with my life after I got through playing professional sports. You know, when I retired, I was 42 years old. I had quite a few years to live, and got to do something with your life. So being able to write has been very fulfilling for me, you know, to express myself and communicate in a way that people can understand things about me and the things that I observe. I'm able to make that known to people in a meaningful way.
Legends do books. This is something not surprising. But I thought that if I look up to your books, they would all speak about basketball, especially your last book. But when I digged more on your 14 different books, I was surprised that you talked into different aspects. You even invented a brother for Sherlock Holmes and talked about him. You became a real writer. It's not only about basketball. When did you feel that you're able to be that writer?
When I was at the university, while I was at UCLA, they just encouraged us to write whatever. And one of my teachers said, hey, you know, you've done a few interesting things here. And I got the idea at that point that maybe I could write. But of course, I had my basketball career ahead of me. But when my basketball career was over, I picked up those threads and followed them, and I've been able to do well. I'm just very fortunate, you know. That's all it is.
You have many quotes. All this episode was all about quotes, but you have something that is famous. You've once said that you'll not win till you understand losing, or this is what you meant by that. What was your biggest loss?
It probably occurred when I was in grade school. You know, I was a very intense baseball player, so baseball meant a lot more to me at that point. But just wanting my team to win and watching them lose all the time. You know, the Dodgers used to lose. That was my team, the Dodgers, and they lost until they finally beat the Yankees. And you know, it gave me an idea that if you persevere, maybe you can achieve your goal and beat your nemesis. You know, which for the Dodgers was the Yankees, and for the Lakers was the Celtics.
The Lakers. You've been there. Is it the best team ever in basketball, the Lakers?
Well, I think you can't compare teams from different eras. I think the Lakers that I played on was one of the best teams ever, but it's only one of many very good teams. And we'll never know because you know, we can't take those Lakers and make them play against Bill Russell's Celtics, or Michael Jordan's Bulls, or George Mikan's Lakers. It's impossible. It's just something that people argue about. I guess that's why they have sports bars, you know.
Talking about other legends of basketball, such as Michael Jordan, you both reached success. People have a debate who's the most important players between those two names. But there was always a choice. After reaching success, what to do with that success? He chose a different path. What can you tell us about the path that you've chosen after success?
Well, I've devoted myself to things that are important to me. So having the opportunity to write and express myself on different political and social issues was important. That's why I pursued that. You know, Michael wanted to be a businessman. He's done a very good job at that. So.
And don't you think that he made more money than you did after taking that line?
Well, you know, if your pursuit is a businessman, that is what businessmen do. They accumulate wealth. I had things that I wanted to say, so I've been able to do that.
Talking about politics, it is a hot topic, and you have huge opinions because you didn't choose to be a businessman. You chose to say your beliefs. So let's listen more about your beliefs towards politics. President Trump, you had many opinions towards him. Now, after 1 year, what can you say for describing that year?
It's been a year of chaos and confusion, and I've seen not very much I can there to admire because of the incompetence of how his administration has moved forward. They haven't done very many things. A lot of things are out of place and out of order.
But they say that they took the employment rate, the unemployment rate down. The economy is better. What do you think? Black people are having more jobs than they ever had.
I don't know about that. You know, these are people's opinions. I'm not convinced.
And what do you think that America closes their doors for certain nationalities?
It's wrong to discriminate against people. You know, if there are valid reasons why someone should not be allowed to come into America, point those out, and you can deny that person a visa based on the facts of who that person is. That's just treating everybody equally and fairly. That's what it should be about.
I don't feel comfortable talking to you about politics because you look more decent and more into a truthful person, and politics is all about twisting words.
Yes, and you know, you end up having to tell lies. If you get in politics for too long, you end up having to tell a few lies. That never appeals to me.
But you're right about politics. I don't get that. It's. I think now I can understand why I read more about politics written by your hands, but not hearing you talking about politics a lot. Do you think before you go give a point of view when it comes to politics?
I don't think that politics are important. It's about how you live your life, and you know the things that you do that really determine who you are. So you know, politics are opinions and you know ideas about how things should work. But how do you live your life? Do you respect your fellow citizens? Do you do a good job making sure that your children have educational opportunities? Things of that nature. That's what's important. You know, how to build a community. Do you discriminate against people for no good reason? You know, that's everybody has to be able to look in the mirror and say that they've lived their life according to their moral background, whatever that is. Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, atheists, whoever they are. There's a basic aspect of right and wrong that everybody has to apply.
Talking about life morals, every lifestyle has its own laws, let's say. You've been in a life where winning was part of your days. Other people might live a different life where there is no always challenge to win on a daily basis or in every week. What does it feel to win?
Well, for a sports team, it's about preparation and really getting the most talented group you can get together. That's winning you, and it's very easy to determine that by the number of games that you win. But you know, in your life, that's different. You want to have a successful life, it's about growth, the growth of your family, your own personal growth of knowledge, and that type of thing. So, you know, it's hard to compare a sports career with life, life that we have to live. You know, sports careers are fun. It's about personal development. It's about the development of a group, because a team, they evolve. They do things that give people ideas about how teams can be successful. So there's a lot to it, but it's all about what you want to achieve.
Winning a trophy, is it that moment where you feel winning? Is it when you, after doing whatever is happening in the court and going back to home? Tell us about that journey, winning a trophy. People love success stories and they love to know how to feel to win. So we see you winning and jumping with your teammates and having the trophy. What happens after that when you go back home?
Well, you know, to be a part of success on that level, it's very rare that you can take credit for it. You know, it's a team effort. There's a whole lot of people that enable a team to be successful. And if you focus on that and appreciate that, you won't make the mistakes that people make, you know, because they get to be arrogant after they've been successful a little bit. And it's hard to repeat after that.
Talking about what's important, when talking about now, the current, what happens at the end, it's not about how it goes. This is a main question that I always had about basketball. I see them from the beginning of the game. It's not about all those minutes. It's always a balance in the score till the last moments. Why is it important the first quarter or the second quarter?
The first part of the game is important because you can dominate the other team so that they have no chance at the end of the game.
But this is not something that reflects on the score sheet. I see it. It is like we're enjoying scoring, but it always goes back to the last minutes of the game.
It doesn't always do that, but it seems like that to you because you don't see how all these things come into play with each other. But a lot of things that happen in the beginning of the game affect the end of the game.
You already know how I feel about you, and you know how your teammates feel about you. We love you, man. And you've meant a lot to us, and you've helped us grow. So this is your night.
A lot of times those MVPs were really yours, and you allow them to give it to me. But you never said anything. Today, you should have really had the first statue because you actually built this Staples Center. You know, it was on your back that we're now here at the Staples Center.
I wanted to say something related to how America is successful between joining the educational importance and the educational programs that they have linked to sports. So now you can't be part of NFL or NBA unless you are. How can you explain this to the world?
Well, I think by having sports programs attached to schools, and the schools are very proud of the success of their team, I think that's how they keep the interest alive. Because it's not why they're in school. It's extracurricular. But it's something that they take a lot of pride in, and it's something that gives them physical training, and they learn about teamwork.
But you don't feel that they're treated in the right way. You write once an article about the players are not.
Oh no, they're exploited in the fact that in college sports they make so much money, and they aren't allowed to get any of that money. You know, they're denied access to all the wealth that they create, and I think that that's wrong.
في إحدى لحظات الراحة على هامش حوارنا مع كريم عبدالجبار ذكر لنا قصة شدت الجميع، وهي أنه وعد بجائزة مقدمة من رئيس الوزراء السابق لإسرائيل شيمون بيريز، ولكنها كانت تشترط تواجده في إسرائيل، ولكنه من أجل المبدأ رفض تلك الجائزة. Going back to a subject in this break, we talked a lot. I talked even to your business manager, which is she said that there is a special relationship between that she's Jewish as a religion and you're Muslim. Knowing that there is always different between beliefs and those political issues between different countries. Is there a difference between those two things?
Not really. When you get down to it, it's about who is able to treat everybody the same way, who's able to treat everybody with justice and fairness. That's what this is all supposed to come down to. And you know people by their deeds, not by what they say. The things that come out of their mouth can be directly opposite from the things that they do. So observe what people do, and I use that as a basis for understanding them.
And knowing that you're iconic, you once even said that now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a brand. You always look up to this name, how it is always related to achievements. And also it is an Arabic name. So every person that has the same language, or he feels that he's closer to that name, he always look up to you. So we wanted to know, how are you really reflecting our language or our religion?
Well, it's an honor for me to be a Muslim and to be someone that Muslims can feel that they have learned from and gotten positive information from, that I've been a positive example as a Muslim. You know, I things that I can be proud of, things that I don't have to be ashamed of. So I'm glad that you know, I'm seen like that in the Muslim world. I remember when I was in, I went to Jummah in Al-Quds, and all of the Palestinian people came in, and they just wanted to shake my hand, and they wanted their children to see me, and they said, you know, he's Muslim from America, you know. And just the brotherhood, that bond, that's what was important.
We know how Islam gave you a special image, or now some even players copy your name and try to get the benefits that you've got out of releasing this opinion or belief. But what did Islam stopped you from doing things, or made it harder in achieving certain things? Did that happen?
Well, no, I think Islam helped me to avoid bad things, to not be totally into my own pleasure, you know, which leads you on a very negative path. So, you know, reading the Quran and getting an understanding of how to live my life and what to focus on really enabled me to avoid bad things.
Let me clarify more. Now, certain beliefs stop you sometimes from certain achievements. Did that happen to you? So, for example, an award or something that you should take, but because of your religion, it didn't.
Of course, you know, since I retired, I've had the opportunity to do a beer advertisement. I can't do that, and it's okay. You know, I accept that. That is part of the discipline in my life. I don't mind that. So, you know, things of that nature are fine with me. I don't do, I don't promote cigarettes, you know, because they're bad for your health. And I get that feeling and that indication from Islam.
I know that you have many trophies, but we have also our own trophy that reflects the image of our program. It is this is the gift that we have. This is that represents, yes, a boom. We call it boom in Arabic. That reflects the program where we travel all over the world to meet legends, to share their stories. So this is for you.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Wow. Okay, I want to do one last thing.
Sure.
When did you last practice basketball?
Well, when I was coaching with the Lakers, I had to stay kind of get into a little bit of shape so I could demonstrate things to the people that I had to coach.
Okay, so we said 2 questions.
All right.
Okay, I'll pass the ball to you. If you missed, it would be a hard question. If you scored, it would be an easy one.
And
okay?
Where do I have to shoot it from?
Wherever you want.
Wherever
because I think
want.
it's all about pressure. It's not about, because I see famous basketball player, they miss doing a penalty.
Oh,
so it's always about the pressure.
Yeah, but that's because they don't practice.
Okay.
All right, so you want me to make the shot?
Yes, I'll try to block you.
Ah. All right, so ask away.
A hard question. What do you think should people in the Middle East do with African American, Muslim African American, or African American here in the United States?
I would hope that Muslims in the Middle East and African Americans can get business ties that would strengthen our understanding each other culturally, and it would strengthen the black community here in America financially. And that would be a great thing for both the people in the Middle East and for black Americans.
Okay, I'll give you the other ball.
Okay.
Hope you'll miss again.
All right.
Okay. Then it's an easy question.
All right.
You did 14 books.
Yes.
As there is a new book coming up.
Yes, I have a new book. It's the second book about Mycroft Holmes, which is Sherlock's Sherlock Holmes' older and smarter brother. Mm-hmm. And I will continue his adventures that occurred before we learned about Sherlock. That's what it's all about. It's Mycroft's backstory and Sherlock's home early story. So you want to see a hook shot?
Yes, I want to see one.
I've been out of practice. There we go. I've shot a basketball, so.
Whoa. When do you cross a line when you write a book? Now you missed both. Sometimes do you write and miswrite and take?
Oh yeah, it's all about rewrite, and you have to reread and rewrite what you do constantly to make sure that it's all, the continuity is there. That's essential.
Sometimes also rewriting what people call you. So for example, as something that we had behind the scenes, someone pronounced my name wrong. Mm-hmm. As you heard. So it's you felt the difference between Othman and Uthman, or right. Uthman, right?
But I've studied some Arabic, so I understood what it should be.
Your name was also an issue. You didn't respond to people that didn't call you with your name.
Yeah, because they had to understand, who I am. Culturally, black Americans have had a lot of things imposed on them. Okay, when people were brought here in bondage, they were denied the use of their language, of their culture, of their family, and it destroyed a lot internally within the black community. There was no sense of continuity there. So we have to rebuild that on a daily basis, just because of our experience here in North America.
Thank you again, Mr. Kareem. I hope we can see you and read more of your books.
Oh, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. حلقة ملؤها نجاح، مشوار ومسار ذاك النجاح، وحتى بعد تحقيق النجاح كيف لنا أن نستغل ذاك النجاح؟ كيف لنا أن نغير المسار والمشوار ونحقق نجاحا بمجال آخر؟ لذلك احترنا أن تكون المقابلة، هل في ملاعب كرة السلة أم في المكتبات؟ قصة مليئة بالمبادئ والمفاهيم. خسر وضحى بالكثير ولكنه كسب نفسه. طبت يا كريم وطاب مسعاك.